Views and opinions expressed on Thoughts from LA to the UK and its guests are not necessarily those of the V3 TV network or its affiliates. Viewer discretion is advised.
Valentine just said, gnarly, dude. So I told him, stop that shit. Yeah, so that was Eric Czar. Well, I'm telling you now. Stop it. Like I'm your father. I don't know what happened with this. It turned green. It looks like Incredible Hulk's piss or something. But I'm drinking it anyway.
What is it?
Well,
Drinking that sours.
I put that sour stuff in there because I didn't have enough cola in there for the vodka.
14-year-old girls drink, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's,
I don't know.
It's shots,
Yes.
so it's not a mixing type of
Well, I
thing.
needed something to cut. Fuck all y'all.
It's
I
like-
needed something to cut the shit.
Well, you get mixers. They're like normal people.
I didn't
and you
have
get-
time to go downstairs to get the stuff.
But sours is like the Hannibal Lecter of drinks. You don't mix it with anything at all.
Yeah.
Not a mixer.
This
It's a lesson there.
This is like when you mess with your server at a restaurant and you're like, I'm not eating this. And you send your food back and they got control of your food because I got control of the cameras and stuff. And she's over there picking on me. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be good just because it's your first day.
Be gentle with me.
It's the first time. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Completely forgot. Somebody tried to call. I'm sorry I missed two different people's calls. Please call back. It's completely my fault because I'm just completely unprofessional and I'm not swiping left or right fast enough like I'm on Tinder. Speaking of Tinder, how's your dating life going, Mr. Valentine? We know we like to always reference Tinder when you're in the house.
Why is Tinder
Because when we
associated with
first
me now?
started doing the shows, Tinder was
No,
your...
I haven't used Tinder anymore. It's gone down the rails. I don't respect
Well,
it
what
anymore.
are you using these days to find your lovely ladies of the night?
The outside world.
Anyway, so let's get back to it. I'm not gonna deal with
This is how
that.
we do it.
Yeah. So the Pope. The Pope's in the United States right now. At least I think he's still in the United States.
I think he is, yeah.
I was reading that people were pissed off that the city of the Philly had spent more money on having the Pope speak at whatever he was speaking at than the millions they spent on this because it's the Pope, but they don't have the money to fund these schools and keep their kids educated, but they got the money to fund the Pope. Anyway, phone's ringing, so I gotta answer the phone instead of talking about the Pope. So I don't even know who's on the phone. Let me see if we got him in the connector. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. This is Ray Chow from Los Angeles.
Oh shit! Hold on, Ray. Let me try and get my crappy shit sorted here. I'm getting feedback. There, are you there?
Yeah.
Let's turn you up here just a sec. There we go. So, how are you tonight? Ooh, wow, that's really bad, isn't it?
Good. How are you guys?
He can't hear that. Ray, we're doing great, but I'm getting a lot of feedback for some reason. Let me see if that works. There we
That's
go.
better.
So, talk to me. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Enjoying the sunshine. How's your weather?
Sunshine. We got disconnected from Ray. Ray, you guys is the reason behind actually really why we're sat here. I met Ray on the set of Storage Hunters in California. We were doing some work together, and Ray was talking about doing a show, doing a podcast, and I overheard Ray, and I was like, "Hey, I used to do radio. I want to do radio again." So Ray and I did a show briefly. He would have me on. It was his show. It's called Legalese, and that's how I know Ray. And Ray, thank you so much for calling into the show. You've got a play that you're working on right now, yes?
Yeah, I am. I'm going back to do do some theater work, which I hadn't done for a while, but, a really great theater group called Zombie Joe Underground. So I think that tells you a lot about the type of theater that performs. But, it's a great show. Get to get bloody, get to get killed, get to be a zombie. All that traditional theater training will come in handy.
You're gonna turn kids into zombies, dude? Really?
Yeah. Well,
They
some
already
would
are
argue
looking
that
at their
everyone
phones, aren't they?
Yeah, some would argue that everyone already is a zombie in
Yeah.
LA, but
That seems like to be the big trending thing right now is to be a zombie. There's like zombie apocalypse. You've got, what is the one show called that everyone watches that I don't watch anymore?
the
Dead.
Walking
Dead,
and then
yeah.
they've got,
Yeah, Walking
they've
Dead.
got the spin-off. Well, I think the other thing that's going on in the U.S., I don't know over there in the U.K., but, Halloween is just such a ridiculously big holiday now. It's crazy. I mean, with all the haunted houses, the mazes, the hay rides, the theme parks, it's really a huge, it's just as big as Christmas, I would say.
I wish it were that big here. I was actually sat around. Was it with you guys?
Yeah,
I was
we were
with
talking about
with Kaz and Miss Isles here. We were talking about Halloween and how lackluster it is here in the UK versus the US, and it's so amazing back home. I miss it, but
Yeah, it's almost taken on a life of itself. It really is kind of intimidating. I feel like, and the season's really extended. The like Universal does this haunted theme park, and it opened last week. So these are like 6-8 weeks of production. So it's pretty amazing.
we're already into Christmas over here, so that's probably why we don't do so much Halloween. Because I walked into the garden center today actually, and they already were selling Christmas trees. Fucking September, and they're selling Christmas trees.
I walked into one about 4 weeks ago, and they were selling Christmas cards and decorations.
Unbelievable.
I
So,
put my Christmas decorations up Christmas Eve. That's it. I go from summer to Christmas. There's nothing in between. Halloween just doesn't exist.
Well, we should just all agree to have Christmas year round. I mean, 365 days a year.
You don't have kids then, do you? Because if that was Christmas every day, I would be so broke.
so you're working on it's called Attack of the Rotting Corpses.
Yeah, it's at Zombie Joe Underground, which is, Zombie Joe, that's actually his name, has been around for years. He's really well respected. I'm not a huge horror aficionado, but I like what he does. It's really creative, and this show is this is the 4th incarnation. It's just a really fun, kind of campy, bloody, kind of a crazy show, and Zombie Joe is known for that. And of course, this is a season for him, and he's got like 3, 4, 5 shows going on all at once.
Did you say
He's up in North Hollywood?
Did you say slutty, Ray?
No, I think I said bloody.
Oh, bloody. Sorry.
We know what mood you're in.
I was wondering. I was like, wait a minute. How come I never heard of Zombie Joe's when I was in LA?
Your mindset is just
Yeah, today you're off.
But I will say that part of that zombie horror genre, the women can be slutty, and actually the guys can be slutty too. So, they're bloody sluts.
Oh, you said zombie horror. I thought you said zombie whore. I was like, maybe it's just my headphones tonight are just a bit tuned to sexuality
Maybe
or
it's
something.
that stuff you're drinking.
I think American
Or
zombie
maybe
things
just-
and English zombie things are so different. Because American zombie stuff, the girls are quite slutty and they've always got makeup on. Even the zombies know how to put the makeup on.
Yeah.
In England, we have
It's
24
true.
days late, 24 hours. Well, a couple
24 days and weeks.
28 days later.
And it's the whole thing about that was that the zombies run. There was no sluts in there, none at all.
But we're English.
And
we don't have
there's a real science behind the zombie makeup. Surprisingly, you start out with clown makeup. That's the base. So
Clowns are
it's
scary, though.
it's quite a learning curve.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we do have to look scary for our audience, and that's part of the fun. And also a lot of blood, a lot of bad tasting, sucrose based fluid for our mouths and bleeding and things. So that part is not as much fun.
When does the show, does it open tonight, or has it already started, or what?
Yeah, we open tonight, Sunday at 7:30 at Zombie Joe Underground Theater in North Hollywood, and we run for 6 weeks. And he's got this haunted theater maze that runs several times a night over the weekends. And then last night I went to a show. It was this woman. It was a one-woman show, and it was just this really creative, unique, bizarre kind of burlesque / feminist / sexuality, kind of a bunch of little songs. So, Zombie Joe does a lot of creative things. But, I think the theater scene in LA is really, they encourage thinking outside the box because, I think, we're not New York, we're not Chicago, we're LA. And so we're going to do things a little bit differently.
Right on. That sounds amazing. So I will promo your production that you're a part of until the wheels fall off, which will be November 1st of this year. It sounds very...
Thank you, sir.
No, absolutely, dude. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm just happy to be doing this because of what you did with me. So I'm getting some feedback again. So thanks for calling into the show, Ray. I'm so happy that you're a part of this.
Okay,
I know you do
everyone.
some amazing work with the kids. Try not to lose any due to zombie brain, edible type stuff or anything like that. And I hope you keep up with the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Stay in touch. Keep up the good work, everyone.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Cheers.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Ray. That is a very amazing little bit of work that he's going to be working on. He does a lot of plays with kids and stuff like that. Looks like we missed another call while we were on. Well, if you call in, you guys, dialing in via WhatsApp is amazing because doesn't make that annoying noise in our headphones and we don't have to deal with all that chaos. Taking my ear goggles off because my ears are a little bit sweaty. I know.
Is that like an old
Horror,
people thing?
whores, and sex and sweaty. And now I'm going to officially start fucking with you again because you called me old. Actually, it has to do with there being a lack of circulation of oxygen. And because these have such an amazing noise-canceling seal, there's no circulation. It creates
a blanket on your knees.
Creates moisture.
Tuck you in.
I heard that you're yes, yeah. I need some slippers. My toes are cold. I'm cold.
There's a draft. I'm the only one not wearing shoes.
She's got a skirt on. She's got calf jeans and t-shirts on, and with her boobs all out and stuff. Move the camera and the microphone again.
I believe it wasn't toes either. It was tootsies.
Yeah.
My
I've
tootsies.
never used that word. In
You
my
did.
I'm sure
You
it
did.
was.
Tippy toes.
Let's
Yeah.
rewind the
Tippy
tape
toes.
and let's listen to.
Don't put words in my
As if
mouth.
that's any
Yeah.
better.
Well, you'd be
My
lucky.
That's not the point.
Don't put words in his mouth. He used to be a fluffer, ladies and gentlemen. Words are the last thing that he's worried about going into his mouth. So
I love the fact that he's got nothing to say about fluffer because he doesn't know what it means yet. But after the show,
he's gonna be emailing me.
oh, he's
Dude, you gotta edit that part out, man. I can't. My friends thinking I was a fluffer. Yeah.
oh, little bottom lip going.
It's all good. It's all good.
He's adorable.
We love you. It's just
I know.
you're
I get
young
that
and
a
we
lot.
get to fuck with you. So,
In 20 years' time, he'll be so good looking.
yeah.
I'm only getting better.
It's all good though. See, when you got like a 60-year-old woman looking after you, and you're trying to get with you and you're 40, it's good to go.
I think when he's 40, he's going to be looking for a 20-year-old woman. Isn't that how it works with guys?
No. It does in the beginning. I had this conversation on set the other day. I did a commercial for Iceland, and we were talking about this. I was talking about this with one of the directors. Hold on, just give me 1 second. And I was telling him, I don't even know if I should be saying this because I'm recording it. Shit.
Say
So, too late now. But I was telling him that in my experience, that the level of sexual pleasure has improved as I've gotten older, messing around with older women. And why I mean older, I mean of my age or older, not like 70-year-old ladies like you're into. But and partially because I think that once a woman hits her like early to mid 30s is when they really start to get a better feeling about what's going on right in here. You're more in tune. They're more in tune, right, with what their body is, what they want, and they, don't touch me like that, touch me like this. They'll tell you, versus a 20-year-old woman, she won't tell you anything, and she'll just be like, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ee, and then not really enjoying it, and she'll pretend like she is, and then, she'll go along with it until she gets bored, and then she'll meet some other dude, and she'll be like, okay, I gotta go, and then she'll go and ooh, ee, ooh, ah, with him, and then she'll be like, okay, I'm bored, you gotta go, and so on. But
this is scarily accurate, by the way.
when you get with an older woman, a woman that, and that's not a good, I don't like that phraseology, but when you get with a woman that's over 30, mid 30s to older, the sex is just better, in my experience.
But don't forget, you're talking to somebody who isn't that far into his 20s. So anybody over the age of 25 is probably quite old to you, aren't they?
No.
No?
No. You guys are pretty old though.
Yeah. I'm happy to accept
Hey,
that.
I can tell
have
you.
gray.
I can tell you one thing. We all have gray. Theirs isn't in their beards because they've shaved their beards. But at least our feet aren't cold.
Yeah. We have circulation.
That's all I'm saying.
But have you seen the length of his legs? His legs come up to my armpit.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised the blood
Doesn't quite get all the way down there,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's all right though.
He must have a heart like that to get the blood flowing all the way down there.
He's
still have
got
a big heart.
He's got an athletic body, but you might not know about that if you haven't seen previous episodes about him and his athleticisms and so on. So no, it's all good.
You just have to have that self-belief, and then it will just manifest into a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you're like, damn, like I'm fucking shredded, like your body will just follow the mind eventually. How long that will take is a different matter. No one quite knows, but I'm sure I'm right. Just saying.
See, all through my 20s, I didn't think I had any kind of body at all. Then I hit 30, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, damn, I got like 200 sit-ups a day. I was properly ripped. I was a size 6 waist. I was like that big.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just discovered Nutella.
She was saying she's like eating a tub of Nutella for breakfast. I tell you one thing.
No, it wasn't a tub. In
It's the
fairness, it
glasses,
was the
yeah.
glass. I
Oh,
collect
sorry.
glasses. I have
My
a matching
nan
set
does
of
that.
30.
Damn, you know what he?
Yeah,
you
I am
you
your nan.
feel free to reach around and him. But
Well, when you
there's-
corner an animal, the only way it has to go is.
Oh,
back at
you're. I've never seen a chipmunk do that ever. Fucking try that shit. Give me a break. No, it's all fine. Once you've reached a level in your life where you're happy with whatever you're eating and doing whatever, that's fine. I don't want a skinny, toothpicky workout chick, and I work out not as much as I should because my back sucks. But I used to date a girl who was I don't know what you'd call them here in the States. We call it a full-figured woman. And she's like, I don't know why you want to date me because you're like the picture of health. I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't want a chick that looks like me, because if I have a chick that looks like me, then I'm a little, then there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't want to date a chick that's built like me and that's all strong and shit. I need some cuddle action. That's my preference. So anyway, so once you get older, and even at 20, you're still discovering everything,
I'm
because
not that young. Why are you guys just like,
motherfucker.
He's so cute.
yeah, like, I'm
20.
not that small anymore.
20, man, come on. 20 is like,
Whippersnapper.
is young, dude. You're
but
not.
in fairness, when I was his age, I was a mum.
Yeah, but
So-
you're wait. See, and this is not designed to sound sexist, but you're a woman. Okay, so for a woman
I wasn't
to
always that way.
well, for a woman to have to be with child at 20, 21, that's not a big deal. Whereas a man is more apt to run around until he's 30s and then have a kid. Women have that instinct to have a kid, and a lot of times
Sometimes it's not instinct. Sometimes it's more accident.
I was just gonna say sometimes it necessarily just depends on how you are and what your thoughts are, because it's a lot of girls out there that have made a lot of smoothies by the age of 20, where they was just like,
Wait a minute, smoothie's an American term for something else.
yeah, when you go in there to the doctor and he says, "Don't move, don't move," give me that little motherfucker, and yanks him out and makes him into a smoothie in the back. So, that was a bit crass, but I know what I'm graphic sometimes. So, but yeah, so it's not necessarily anything that's because you're 20, but once you get older. When I was 26, I had a girlfriend that was 48. Okay, so once you start to have those types of experiences in your life, the 19 and 22-year-old girls that you're dating now will just pale in comparison. You'll never go back.
Wait a minute, that's assuming he is dating.
Yeah, we don't. I keep asking him, and he never comes up with anything other than
It's the stony face silence.
I go to the pub.
Yeah.
I go to the
I
pub
think he might be a sly one.
with my mates.
I think he's got secrets.
I think
I
he goes home and does the 5-knuckle shuffle and goes to bed. That's what I think. The Jackie Chan.
What does that even mean?
The Jackie Chan.
Oh.
Roto Rooter. Liquid plumber. Come on.
I think there's more to him than just a favourite sock at night. I think
Nope.
there's got to be a lady somewhere.
Suck it. Yeah.
It's the nervous laugh. He's definitely got a favourite sock.
Yeah. That pink one.
Yeah.
Miss Michigan. Probably don't get that, dude. See, Michigan is shaped like a glove. So
No, I get it.
Miss Michigan.
I get it. Look how happy he is with that joke.
I just had to make sure that we were.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
That's all. So talk to me. What would you find in your research of digging around on the internet for things for us not to talk about that you didn't want to share with us?
Not that much. I read a few facts that.
Shark facts were good.
Yeah, there was one that I read that more people have died this year from selfie-related accidents. One of them was a Japanese kid on the escalator taking a selfie, and he misstepped, fell all the way down on the jaggedy steps, died.
That's got a smart.
So more people have died taking a selfie than they have from shark attacks this year. It's quite
Is that
interesting.
globally, or
Yeah.
it wasn't just a region?
Yeah, globally. Yeah, there was selfie deaths globally, worldwide. That shit's spreading right now. Wildfire.
I love
12 whole people died.
Selfie is an
Old
actual
12.
word as well now.
Old people.
12 whole, physically intact before death died. That's how serious it was.
Yeah, well.
I love that every single new word that we come up with now has got something to do with technology and how we use it. It's like language used to expand in all these different ways, and now it's just technology driven. It's like the verb to text. That never used to happen, and now it's all about selfie.
No. If you look at the development of language, then it predominantly went from the most influential influencer. So before it was in 1891, received pronunciation was heavily influenced by the Queen and the text of the time. Now
The Queen back then
there's-
text. She actually.
Now, anyway, now there's a very, very heavy focus of technology in our lives. Technology adds 7 hours to our life, from discoveries, from everything. So it's a massive part of our lives, and that's the main influencer in terms of scale. So that's why you're seeing that general trend of technology influenced words and lexicon deriving from that. Thank you. Yeah.
You ever considered theatre?
Yeah, been there, done that. Anyway.
Oh,
Darling.
Please.
Darling.
Excuse me.
No, it's 20 a Fags Day thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she. I just want the husky voice. Yeah. hey. What's the thing where they're like, and it goes. Ding. Spittoon. Is that an actual word?
I was thinking of spit the dog.
Spittoon is a
you're way too
word.
young for that.
It's actually called a cuspidor. Is the real word of what it's called. So
Cuspidor.
yeah, so if you were in the old west and you go into a saloon, they would have bar stools and there'd be a brass cuspidor on the floor where they spit into the cuspidor.
That is a fact of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
So, and I learned that from watching Sanford and Son, which is a television show that I like to watch, which is the best show ever, which is the American version of Steptoe and Son from over here in England. So, anyway,
An episode, didn't we?
I know exactly what you guys are talking about.
Steptoe and Son finished about 20 years before we were born.
Yes, I remember it well. When I had my beard. Yes. Where were we?
I think we'd gone straight past shark attacks, straight to spittoons
Yeah.
and cuspidors.
Cuspidors. Interesting fact, Joseph. Thank you for that.
you're
Thank you.
welcome.
We are enlightened.
Yeah.
That's why we're called Light Bear Entertainment.
That should be more a thing. We should do that now. Like an enlightening fact to round things off with. And today, 12 people died.
We tried that, but you stopped doing it.
Yeah, that's coming right back. It's coming right back.
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. Bringing it back like the 80s, yeah.
Because you're too young.
Jesus.
The 80s.
Lived through the 80s.
I was there, man. I was there.
Yes, totally, man.
I think he's just trying to get a rise. You realize there's three of us. You're in the corner.
You can't escape unless you go out the window. And actually, there is a palm tree out there. So.
I'm very brave. I'm braver than I look, you know. I'll
Brave, stupid.
Yeah, I was going to say
Fine
fine
line.
line.
Whatever word you want to use, it's fine.
Talking of fine line between brave and stupid, I'm going to go for the Reese's Pieces.
Yeah! It's actually a Reese's peanut butter cup. A Reese's Pieces looks like an M&M, if you know what an M&M is.
I know, he's a rapper, yes?
Oh, you're showing your age now. An M&M is chocolate inside of a candy shell, my love.
Like a Smartie we have in England.
Yes.
She still pronounces like Jay-Z as JZ.
JZ.
What's going on? There's even more wrapping inside the wrapping.
just
You
take a
have
bite,
to
just
burn
take
the
a bite.
calories before you get to the calories
Yeah.
so that it's a balance. See, it's not about
See, this is why Nutella jar.
just eat the
Food.
damn No, that's way more calories than you're going to
Yeah.
incur there. See,
This is
just
loads.
and you'll be
Nutella
alright.
is darn good though.
Yeah, and it's nuts. It's basically nuts with a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, I was intrigued once, and I was like, how many nuts are actually in this? 13% of Nutella is hazelnuts. That's not
What's
a
the
lot.
rest of it?
Exactly.
Did you not find that out?
Well, it's chocolate, sugar, milk, all that stuff. Not the
Probably
good
loads
stuff.
of other stuff that you don't know what it is. Because like you read ingredients now and you think, what is that?
That's how they get you.
What
yeah.
is that? I don't even know what that is.
Most of the stuff is just made up anyway. They just let's call it this, and because you're not going to know what it is. And even if they do say that it's this, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's actually inside something. They just put that shit on the
do you know
label.
what I'm loving at the moment? Natural coconut water. You
Oh,
flip
no.
that, and it just says 100%, nothing, and it just says coconut water. That's it.
But
that's
the taste
I
of
love
it.
that. Sort of like hazelnuts.
No, it's
Yeah.
horrid.
Yeah, but it hydrates you better than water does.
Where did you hear that?
I don't know, but
He read it
Is that one of those
somewhere, right? He
made-up
read it
facts?
on a coconutwater.com.
It's one of those. This
You should
might-
drink this shit. This is brilliant.
This hydrates up to
we've got a
100%
load of it in
times
the
more.
bag.
Yeah,
Just
right.
we need to get rid of it.
We'll give you a deal on it.
No, it's actually really expensive coconut water. It's like a thing though. I think it was more of a thing in America, wasn't it? And now it's coming over in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. I've recently seen.
So when
it
you get into your
take
40s,
over.
we call them fads.
Yeah, I guess so. Isn't it?
Water's water. It hydrates you. It does the job. Coconut
She
water.
just called you a fad.
Just drink 5 liters of water a day. You'll be fine.
Yep.
Do what I want, drink what I want.
I'm young. I can do what I want. I'm young. I used to date a girl who was from Germany. I used to be her excuse for every time like she want to go out and all at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, God, can we go home and get some sleep? We're young. I'm like,
Well, she had present you on a TV channel.
God damn
like,
it,
for
I'm
Germany or
tired,
something.
man. We need to go home and get some sleep. They go these party buses where they just get on this bus and there's like a DJ on the bus and you're on this bus for like 9 hours and going to pubs and drinking and get on the bus and it ends at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. the next day and they have breakfast on the bus and it's like
Perky
Drinking.
people like that really get on my tits. Really, They
you've
do.
got tits.
They do. It's just like they go on holiday, and then you see them. You know, there's a crowd, and they're taking pictures, and they're just strolling through. But there's always a group or one that stands out, and they're just like, "Yeah, we're here. Let's go walk. Yeah, let's go watch everything, sightseeing. Yay, winning. Yay!" And you're like, "Fucking die."
Why are you such
If that person was near Kaz would just
Just instinctually, without making eye contact.
Yeah.
Boom.
Done. Game over.
It's
So you guys aren't
those overly
into-
perky people.
Kaz loves a
I
perky
just don't like
person.
people in general.
I love how she's barely said a word the whole show.
And she's
I've
like,
been refereeing. It's like, now that we're here,
fuck people.
yeah, fuck people. Full stop.
I hate
I'm
you
d- I'm
motherfuckers.
You go, girl.
Being honest, I find people quite annoying.
How she's tolerated us for the last hour is she's struggling.
Yeah, she's holding.
That's why she keeps drinking water. And every time you say something dumb, Cass goes like this.
That's not water, that's vodka.
That's usually his tell too. When he says something racist, and I call him out on it.
Yeah.
No.
And I go, "What do you mean, black people like fried chicken?" He goes,
No, I don't.
or he'll take a bunch of nuts and he'll just be like,
I can't talk now.
1 minute, just give me a minute.
Anyway, Kaz not liking people. She was in a whole cathedral full of people yesterday, but her only reason for being there was that it was a gin festival. There were people, multiple people with gin, and
Yeah.
you made happy with them all.
Yeah, because alcohol was involved.
I love,
So it's
I
fine.
love gin. I love
It's the
gin.
You missed
universal.
the gin festival.
I bet everyone was absolutely hammered, but you couldn't smell it on them because
No, the best thing was there was these two old ladies that were sat. It was at Guildford Cathedral.
oh my god, where was the invite?
Yeah, well, it was online. They sold
Go
out. They
away.
It was a
sold out like
sellout
6
event.
weeks ago.
Yeah, they had badges and everything.
Yeah.
For real, not even stickers.
Not stick badges.
But yeah, so there was these two old dears sat on a bench with their gins, sitting there reading a book, seeing
That was
what
you and your
gin
sister, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it was great. Lots of people there. Lots
How
of
many
people.
gins? Roughly, to the nearest 10.
Oh, there were over 100 gins.
Did you try the majority of them?
Not too many gins.
What's your
There's no
favourite?
such
Only one
thing.
of these.
Kaz, I'm interested. What's your favourite gin?
At this moment in time, I'm loving the Brockman's gin.
Brockman's.
Brockman's gin.
Brockman's. Never heard of Brockman's. Where do they sell it?
Good, it's good. I don't know where
Is it
they
a
sell it.
specialty
I think they
gin?
probably sell it in the Whiskey Exchange,
Oh.
which is where most people sell their stuff. But it's flavoured with blueberries and blackberries. It's got a really, really nice taste. You can drink it neat. You don't need tonic with it at all. It's gorgeous.
Gin is that drink that you can just drink neat, no matter what. Really.
No,
Well,
gin
I
it
is-
depends.
find.
It depends. Some of them are quite savoury, so you do need something with it.
Gin is a mascara thinner to me. It just makes me cry. My mascara just ends up down there. It's terrible stuff.
A lot of people say that. Why do people say that it's a sort of like
It just-
it's like a downer?
Yeah, if you're
Then
at a
all
party,
alcohol
you
is.
can guarantee that that girl that's on the stairs or in the kitchen crying her eyes out has been drinking gin and tonic. Guarantee it every time. I've been to a lot of these parties, and I've been crying on the stairs many times after gin. Bad
It
stuff.
doesn't happen to everybody's got like, oh, I've had a really bad experience on blah blah blah, so now I can't drink blah blah blah.
I've got that.
I've
with
had a bad
virtually every
experience on
liqueur.
everything. I'm still drinking.
And that's why you're a fighter. You just keep on going. You keep trooping on, yeah. To your
Anything
grave.
except Pernod or Sambuca. Yuck.
I've never had any crying experiences on gin. I used to drink gin when I used to go to the strip club all the time, so that was my strip club drink.
What did you drink it with?
Gin and tonic, or gin and grapefruit juice, I think it was. Or was it Sprite? One of the two. It was a long time ago.
Sprite, grapefruit
Yeah,
juice.
I don't
One
remember.
turns your face
It's
inside out,
a
the other-
titty bar, and there's. You think I'm like, yeah, whatever. Bring it. You know, I'm looking at tits. Fuck off. I don't care what's in it. Yeah, that was what we used to drink. I used to when I lived in Detroit, I used to go to this strip bar with my friend John, and because I used to live on 8 Mile, and every day we would go play golf.
Oh, wait a minute. 8 Mile. Is that Eminem chap again?
Yeah, what is with you and Eminem? How come your nipples keep getting hard every time you say that
That's the only
shit?
American rapper that I can think of by name at the moment.
So yes, that's that road is.
Is it actually 8 miles long? I thought you guys didn't do miles over there.
Now we do miles. You guys don't do miles here.
We do
So
miles.
you do kilometers here.
No,
we
Europe
don't.
does kilometres. We do miles.
Wake up.
And you do
Joseph.
Fahrenheit too, right? Yeah, kiss my ass. Anyway, so the way that the miles are set up, it's determined from the downtown Detroit area. So each mile you go out is a mile road. So there's 8 mile, 9 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, so on. When you get into the suburbs, like where I grew up, we don't call them mile roads anymore. We give them names. So it'll still be 15 Mile Road, but it's called Maple Road now, or Big Beaver. Yeah. So if you're ever in Michigan, I've always wanted to make these into T-shirts. If you're on the freeway, it's I-75. If you ever do Route 66 in the States or whatever, and you find yourself on I-75, which is the Interstate 75, in Michigan, exit 69 is Big Beaver Road. So somebody,
You can't make that stuff
I
up.
swear, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Did
so.
you know if you drove a mile vertically, you'd reach outer space?
Actually, if you jumped 3 inches, you're in outer space, technically. Aren't you? Do we need to get the Stephen Fry Book of General Knowledge out from underneath the television?
I thought we were doing that today. Are we not doing that?
We were going to do the Great British Culture Quiz, and we still can. So all I have to do is open up the English citizenship test. I don't have to answer the questions. I can barely speak, so fuck it. All I have to do is read the fucking questions off, then watch you guys try and answer them.
He's so merry.
I don't give a fuck. So, let's find a video for you guys to watch. We'll do this video here, and we're gonna come back with a Great British Culture Quiz. I don't even have that shit queued up. We'll have to do it in post, so it doesn't matter because that's what post is all about. And we'll be right back.
I'll do this shit hungover to get the rest of the game a handicap. Let's go. Several synapses like several swords wipes in your neck with a blade made with a Tory Hans engraved as the blacksmith. Oh, damn it, I call that you losing your mind. Well, you got your skateboard snatched, you losing your grind. Like cocaine mixed with yellow jackets, bitch, you be lying in the studio frontin', but using deceptive con. Transformer, I'm invested in everything that's suggested in lyrical content. It's worth more than the price of your necklace. Accept it. Restless like hummingbirds on amphetamines. Youngins unaware of an angle, we vested veteran. Impossible to down like a spoonful of cinnamon. Chin is solid, united with spirit that's God-given. I fitted out, demolish these bars like C4 and beat-ups. Ignited in the underground like roots beneath the tree stumps. Obvious flow that, a force to be reckoned with. Luke, Obi, and Yoda, accepted. We pull out miracles like C-sections. Confessing we stand out like strippers with 3 breasts. And I'm the best at this, bitch. And I ain't breaking the sweat. I've been rapping since your parents' ass as well. Breaking in sweats. Let's see, your boy a loose cannon like heavy seas. So high you couldn't drop me with a truck bed of sedatives. You green like lettuce, kid. You need more experience. While our music out of this world, XM and Sirius, get it? It's a satellite that isn't on Earth, see. And you blend like Natty Light, we attract the fuck like bird seed. And there you have it, on top like kicked off the ladder. I done been around the block. I done been around the block. I done been around the block. Can't play me with the fuck shit. How you hate and your bitch still love it. Man, you in the way. Better get your life. You got your own dick. Why you wanna get on mine? I'm really with the shit. Get it in on sight. My click been the shit. Better get on time. Maybe stupid late. I'm here all week. Early bird get the worm. I don't get no sleep. Cause my son like George and them shits ain't cheap. And I like foreign, so I grind on fleek. I need a bad bitch that'll grind on me. Tryna say I ain't the shit, why you lie on me? Boy, I been the shit since '09. And the nigga go hard like my brother still alive. Rest in peace, Debo. Give him 16, then a nigga reload. Bang. Not afraid of the warfare. Niggas talk big shit, but they ain't nowhere. I was raised by the block, hated by the cops, that VA shit. Man, I got game, that EA shit. But I don't play games, it's game for kids, and I'm a grown up, handling grown man biz. Bitch. Yo, I can't tell you what's cracking or popping, but I can tell you that the cops is popping niggas and locking them ex-gone. More than cigarettes to take your oxygen. Life or death, it's crazy how we gamble these options. God, like, I got your back, I can help you through the struggle. Devil, like, I can get you back, I'ma help you on your hustle. Ain't been in many fights, but this my everyday scuffle. Not a badass, but will flap my wings when they ruffle. And I ain't built like that, but I was raised in the days with disrespect. You can catch your issue. Catch time, do yours, people just gon' miss you. Cause snitching to get your mama, church had some tissue. Yeah, this that illest sound. Non-stop like a band when the shit went down. Us fail, hold your breath, pass out and hit your head on the ground. Niggas rapping like kids, sound like whoever they been around. The gossip rapper, the he say what he say type. At the live, they wait on the mic. Yeah, I know this ain't no school, but don't believe that hype. The only time I ever rock skinnies when that beat tight. Check it, category 5, look at that gusto. Breeze through MCs with the sleeves and the cuffs though. Whether talking handcuff or cufflinks, you lost, bro. Say your life's in order, but you stay cuffing thoughts though. Raised from the state where the star close to home. Rather feel it in my soul than feel it in my cold bones. I'ma crush it, bound to go on tour with the fam. I'm a good dude, getting small without the grams. What? Hot and mellow, rock like no fellow. Sick of fakers, got no mind for the same old. Rather cap a cat like a Kango. With the tassel in the gown, what you thought I was saying? Oh, pull up on the curve like a Melv, must have missed you. Making moves like Bobby Fish, check 'em, cause it's the venom to kill 'em. Hook, line, and reel 'em. How you feeling when you outclass and I'm just chilling by the million? Down my drive, 100K on the pavement. Let 'em sign whoever, y'all ain't famous. I'm cold-blooded, shag rugged, and you love it long. King of the beats, past the mustard, the coupon. Ricky Bobby on the Daytona, game's over. Don't confuse my chill for throwing the cold shoulder. I'm part of the team that's too ill to sign with you. Cause whenever you win in the war, everybody wanna side with you. What for?
So welcome back. We're back. We're live. What are you looking at? Is there something?
There's loads of spiders up here. I've just noticed.
It's spider season.
It's Halloween. Hi, spiders. You should go in that bathroom and see what's in that bathtub that I had to kill yesterday. It's all like, no, it was about as big as my hand. I kid you not. I just put it out of its misery because it was just.
Is it still in there?
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
What did you kill it with, a bat?
No, I killed it with some wasp foam, so I didn't have to get close to it. I just kind of, and it sends a stream of, and it's like, and it's
I've got
cool.
one of those tennis racket things that's electrocuted. They're
Oh.
amazing.
Shit, I got one
If you
right.
catch a fly with
right
that,
down
they
there.
actually see them burn. You smell the smoke. It's quite
I used to
bizarre.
have a Venus flytrap, which I literally threw away today because it died because I repotted it too big and bad. But I have one of those, and I used to hunt the flies in the summer and feed it because it was really cool. So, yeah, that's awesome. So, something I wanted to talk about. Yes, California is going to be allowing, and 4 other states apparently, they're going to be passing this bill in January for this death with dignity pill. So the death with dignity pill essentially gives you the right to kill yourself. What are your thoughts on that?
Do it.
Within reason.
Yeah. Just don't get your pills mixed up if you have a paracetamol and you also have one of those just in case you don't want to switch the
Oh
two.
shit! Did I just eat
Yeah.
the shit? I got shit to do today.
Is it going to be? There's got to be controls to it, surely. So, for instance, Dignitas is it Switzerland?
Yeah.
There's controls there, so you can't just give these pills out to people willy nilly because they're just gonna, instead of hypnoling somebody, it's like
The way to
you
make
don't
that
like my
work.
shoes, I kill you.
The way to make that work, I think, just spitballing, but you'd have it all set up online, and the site to get the pills from would say, would you like to purchase a pill? And you'd be like, yeah, I want to kill myself. And then it would ask you, are you sure? But every time you clicked it, it would just reload the page to, are you sure? Until
That
you
would
pressed
make
it
you want to
100 times. Unless you pressed it 100 times or whatever, and then it went, ding, order complete, and then they're in the post. Or drone would just fly into your
You're quite
garden
up in this
and
drone
drop
thing,
it.
yeah.
Into
He loves it. He loves a drone. So that's that whole young mindset.
You see, me,
Drones!
I'm thinking a bit of human interaction somewhere along the line.
Hello, here's your death bill today.
No,
Don't worry about signing it, they won't care anyway.
Do you think it'd be like Amazon, the way they deliver to those little lockers in co-ops? It'd just be so wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
The packaging
I
would
don't
be
know.
like a metal titanium safe, and it would have a fingerprint to you only. So
Not
only
Skull
you-
and Crossbones picture.
yeah, yeah.
I was reading in the news too that Caitlyn Jenner is mad. She's mad. He hates when I talk about Caitlyn Jenner, but you know what? Hey, it's in the news, so we gotta talk about it.
It's obviously of importance. Yes.
To nobody. So anyway, he's mad because people are referring to him as a man. So
But Caitlyn is a she.
Definitely an
Yeah, see,
it.
we've had this.
See, I've missed out on this.
It's a Frankenstein. It's a Frankenstein being.
No, she's a she.
okay, so would you assuming
if-
wait, let me have this point and then you can have the floor. If Michael Jackson were still alive right now, what race would you consider Michael Jackson?
He's in a world of his own.
No, so you
Always
can't
was.
say that. What
He was a
race?
black man.
Right.
Well, he had vitiligo. Is it vitiligo?
Oh, do you really think he had vitiligo?
Not really, but
Over
that
his
was
whole
the-
body?
Well, yeah.
Right. So
But-
would you consider him black still? He's still black.
Yeah.
Right.
I see where you're coming from, but race and gender, they are.
But
No,
he's not
no,
ask-
you can't
He's
bel-
not asking you to determine what race he is.
Because
He's
he
not
didn't
saying,
care. He didn't.
I'm white.
No,
so now you
he
need to
was.
refer
He
me as-
was. Do you not
Wait a minute,
remember
wait a
the
minute.
song? I'm black or white. I'm black. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was like,
No, I
which
don't
one am I?
remember.
God damn it. He was like, pick one. Which
it is
one am
grey
I?
area,
Right.
literally black and white. Yeah, but this isn't a question of race, is it? This is gender. This is something completely different.
Okay, so a lot of the argument that was surrounding the whole gay marriage issue in the U.S. anyway was based upon. I don't want to see football updates. I'm still going to watch that later. They were paralleling it to the civil rights movement. They're saying it's our civil right to be able to marry another man or another woman. So a lot of black people were pissed because you were comparing, and I only point to you just because you're there, you were comparing your behavior to my ethnicity. You can't say that they're the same struggle, okay? Yes, gay people are persecuted. Gay people get beat up. There are hate crimes, and we've introduced these new laws because you're being beaten up because of it. But when an entire race of people have been enslaved for hundreds of years, hung from trees, killed, persecuted, if you think about it, this is really amazing that we're sat here right now. Not only am I the black guy hosting the show of sorts, and I've got white women on my set, and I'm talking about white women's titties, and I'm like, right? And I'm like, your nipples are poking me in the eye. That would never have floated 60 years ago.
Yeah.
60 years ago. I would be a dead as fried chicken motherfucker right now, right? So to
You know
even
the way it's all changed around, don't you? It's because white women like the black man now.
yeah, but the white man doesn't like that.
Yeah, we don't care about
So
that.
they
don't care about
he makes the laws though. They make laws to change that shit, right? So
let's well, I think we're deviating from the point. The point I wanted to make about Bruce Jenner is if that fiasco occurred, say, 400 years ago, he would be getting mobbed by the local village people with flame in hand and pitchforks to his retreat castle at the top of a hill.
Yes, but back in those days, somebody with a cleft lip would also have had that same fate. Could you? It's not one and the same, is it? It's
No, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
well, Hitler's Nazi Germany and his eugenicist attitude was killing people that wasn't perfect. So it kind of the same. If they weren't perfect, they were eliminated because they want to have everything to be one way and one way only. So,
But I think
Technology
at
allows
a
us to be different
fundamental level, that must just be like your inner genes, your DNA makeup telling you that don't stay away from like that thing because his genes are weak, so they won't be passed on if they deviate from deviate in an extreme fashion, which is what that is. I
But
think.
Caitlyn she's not deviating. She's not doing any of that. She's just allowing technology to bring herself out. She is becoming who she wants to be.
why should she wait till she's 60 fucking some odd years old to do that
Does
though?
matter?
Exactly. I just think.
And not a word of it had ever been said. I can see if that's
You can channel that stuff. You can put that all the way back, especially when you've got kids. I mean, whilst she was Bruce, she was out in the public. She was out there, and you know, when she's still trying to come to terms with it all in her head, why would she put that public? Why would she make that, you know, a public discussion? Keep it in until she knows what she wants to do. Then, boom, decide, do it.
And what the fuck has it got to do with anybody else anyway? Why would she put it out in the public?
Yeah. Why would you want people questioning that
Yeah.
when you're still questioning it yourself?
it has to do with the public because the public is making it having something to do with the public. Because you don't get an ESPN or an SB award for courage for putting on a dress and saying
that whole courage thing for the
Yeah.
putting on a dress. I didn't agree with that. Courage to me is something else. That was just becoming who she was. That was a process.
I don't want you to think that I have a problem with what I don't care.
Well, I see.
I have
courage
to
as,
play-
you know, a man that goes into a foreign country and liberates people and loses a leg in the process. That to me is courage.
Right.
What Bruce Jenner did to become Caitlyn, that's just a
No,
process.
that was just an
they-
action that took
Yeah.
place.
I know 3 people that have gone through that whole process. They didn't get an award. Nobody gave a shit. So I agree. It's sorry.
Yeah, you're a mile away.
Sorry. I don't think it's a courageous thing to do in that over somebody like as you say, going into a country and
For personal reasons, you know, in your own self, it's a very courageous and big thing that
Yeah.
you're doing. But worldwide, I'm not so
The
convinced.
most courageous thing they could do is piss off.
What? All right, and on that note, so I'm going to change the subject because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I have a question for the ladies, since we got a couple ladies, so we got more than the usual one or non-one. If if you're out with your man, okay, and there's a situation that he needs to handle, meaning I'm drunk and I'm like, hey, baby, or he starts talking shit to another guy, starts talking shit to him, and he gets his ass kicked. Do you think less of that man, or do you still think that your man is...
My man wouldn't get his ass kicked because I spent years and years in a dojo learning Wing Chun. Not only can I defend myself, I can kick everybody else.
Right. See, that's part B of the question.
I
So-
would go with Matrix. on
So
that
no, but so answer my question though.
No, I wouldn't. No, getting beaten up is. I've been beaten up before. I've seen guys get beaten up before. It's a circumstance thing. nothing to do with masculinity or anything.
So
Guy
you don't
doesn't-
think any
What
less
if he
of
gets
him?
beaten up by like
I've-
a child that like kicks him in the balls, and he's just like, "Do you think any lesser of me?" Like, hold
Has this
rip-
happened to you? Have you got something to tell us?
Yeah.
No, I think.
Well, he
'cause I've
shouldn't
been in
be
a
beating
dojo
up
and
a
I've
child.
kicked the hell out of guys before. Guys come into a class and they would be like, "Oh yeah, I train with that girl over there," and then I'd just totally clean the floor with them. So, to me, it's not emasculating or not if a guy gets whooped.
All right,
I've got a different
so
mentality
we'll
on it.
ask Cass because that's
It's a whole
that's a
different world.
controlled situation. Okay, I've taken martial arts and I've had female opponents, and I'm not gonna go to blows with you the same way that I would go to blows with him.
Yeah.
Same thing with sports. I played basketball with this girl who was really good, and we were just playing just in class or whatever, and I couldn't check her the way that I would check him, and I touched her tit, and I was like, ooh, and then she went, ha, and went around me and made the shot, and she was very cool like that. She was very basketball. She ended up doing Cosmo magazine too. She modeled. She was great. But so there's a difference there.
Yeah.
But we're out. It's Friday night, and Valentine comes up and starts talking shit, and I'm like, don't look at my woman, I'll kick your ass. And then Valentine kicks my ass. And
What's so
think,
funny here? Why is everyone laughing?
so I mean, think about that. Like, maybe not at that moment, but because women don't forget shit. So it's a year from now, it's 2 years from now, and it's like we're having an argument and be like, something comes up, and I'm like, you need to go kick your ass, and you go, you gonna kick my ass, but you couldn't kick that dude's ass at the club a year ago. So do you not
I
think?
don't think women think that way. It's not emasculating to be, to have your ass kicked anymore. If circumstance leads to a guy getting his ass kicked, then a guy's going to get his ass kicked.
I think it's more for me. If I'm out with a guy and he's threatening violence against somebody else, I'm more like, what a dick.
Yeah.
And I'd probably walk off anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
Because I don't
my
think
choice would
that's
be
a-
walk away than violence.
Yeah, I don't think that's if someone's looking at your woman, it's like, well, I've got her and you haven't.
Yeah.
It's not like something to get into a fight about. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd rather a guy just turned his back on the hassle and just went, yeah, lady.
But if you got a chick that can kick some ass, that's usually good. Because I used to date a chick from Holland, and she was like that. She was, she was in there. She'd be jabbing those motherfuckers with you. That's good, because it's usually the chick on the side going, "Oh my God, you're killing him! Stop!" And it's like,
She'd be at the bar. She'd be like, someone would come over like, "Hey, can I buy you?"
yeah,
I'm taken.
Right. So if a chick can handle herself, then the situation is a bit differently. Whereas I shouldn't have to get into that level of a situation with you because you have been like, get out of my face because, whatever. You can handle it so that it doesn't escalate to that. And a lot of times a woman, I don't remember who I was talking to this about just recently, but I had a friend who used to have this girlfriend that would dress very provocatively, and I used to hate going out with him because I'm like, fuck. I'm like, why she gotta come looking all fine, because I gotta start stretching out before we even go out because I know something's gonna jump off later. I just know somebody's gonna be messing with his woman. I'll be like, hey, man, and he's gonna say something to them. Then I gotta deal with his friends, and something's gonna happen, But
do you find that happens more in the States than it does in England? I find in England we're not so bothered about that unless you go to, Weatherspoons.
that's why. No, I'm not in those situations at all now as an adult. But these are when I was like his age. I would have experienced these types of situations. Not now. I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and try and get with her, see what happens. And then or I used to hang out with these girls, and they would get drinks bought for them, and I'd be sat at the table, and they would just be bringing drinks back to the table, and thanks, you stupid motherfucker. So, no. I heard this quote the other day that I thought was great. So I want to thank you guys for coming out to the show tonight. We're going to end the show on this quote. Practice safe sex because pregnant girlfriends destroy marriages. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for Miss Isles and Kaz Money and Valentino over there.